Before history had a name. Before the first kingdom rose. Before humanity ever imagined building cities. The earth was already writing a story. Not with ink, but with fire. Deep beneath northeastern Africa, the planet cracked open. Mountains were torn apart. Volcanoes erupted. Rivers changed course. Entire landscapes were born, only to be destroyed again. It was chaos on a scale almost impossible to imagine. And yet, from one of the harshest places on Earth, came the greatest miracle our species would ever know. Life endured. Welcome to Ethiopia. Not simply a country, but one of the few places on Earth where the story of humanity can still be read in the rocks beneath your feet. Here, the land is still changing. In the Danakil Depression, the African continent is slowly pulling itself apart. Three immense tectonic plates, the Arabian, Somali, and Nubian plates, continue drifting in different directions, stretching the Earth's crust a little farther every year. This is one of the youngest places on Earth. And one of the oldest. The ground sinks below sea level. Salt plains stretch toward the horizon like frozen oceans. Pools of acid bubble from beneath the crust. Sulfur paints the landscape in impossible shades of yellow, orange, emerald green, and white. Steam escapes through fractures in the earth. A reminder that only a thin layer of rock separates this place from the planet's molten heart. Scientists believe that millions of years from now, these deserts may disappear beneath an entirely new sea. Even today, it feels less like another part of our world, and more like the beginning of one. But Ethiopia's greatest secret isn't hidden beneath its volcanoes. It's hidden beneath its soil. In the Afar Rift, researchers uncovered one of the most extraordinary discoveries in human history. A small skeleton, barely over a meter tall. She became known simply as Lucy. At 3.2 million years old, Lucy revealed something revolutionary. Our distant ancestors were already walking upright, long before they developed the large brains that would eventually build civilizations. Then came another discovery. Even older. Ardi. A 4.4 million-year-old ancestor whose bones challenged nearly everything scientists believed about early human evolution. And farther south, in Omo Kaibish, the remains of some of the earliest known Homo sapiens pushed our own story back more than 230,000 years. These discoveries transformed Ethiopia from an ancient landscape into humanity's oldest known archive. Every fossil, every layer of volcanic ash, every fractured rock, became another page in the story of us. Perhaps that's why this land feels different. Not because it's untouched, but because it remembers. It remembers oceans that vanished, volcanoes that reshaped continents, and the first uncertain footsteps of a species that would one day explore every corner of the planet. But surviving in Ethiopia required more than standing upright. To truly understand how this land shaped humanity, we have to climb far above the burning deserts, where another extraordinary world was waiting. The climb changes everything. Within just a few hundred kilometers, the scorching deserts give way to cool mountain air. The silence of salt flats becomes the whisper of alpine winds. And the landscape rises into one of Africa's greatest natural fortresses. These are the Simien Mountains, forged by colossal volcanic eruptions millions of years ago, then sculpted by wind, rain, and time into towering cliffs, deep valleys, and razor-sharp ridges. Some escarpments plunge more than 1,500 meters, creating a world that feels almost untouched by time itself. Here, survival demanded a different kind of evolution. And life answered in extraordinary ways. Balanced on cliffs that seem impossible to climb, the Walia ibex moves with astonishing confidence. Every step is perfectly placed. Every leap defies gravity. Found nowhere else on Earth. This rare mountain goat has spent countless generations mastering terrain where a single mistake means certain death. Far below, the grasslands appear to ripple like waves. But they aren't moving with the wind. They are alive. Hundreds of geladas spread across the high plateau, forming one of the largest primate societies on the planet. Unlike most monkeys, they spend nearly their entire lives on the ground, patiently grazing, watching, communicating through expressions, gestures, and calls that reveal a surprisingly complex social world. Then, without warning, the calm disappears. A challenge. An aggressive display. A younger male pushes too far. Within seconds, the peaceful landscape erupts into a thunder of running bodies. Dust rises. Voices echo across the valley. And just as quickly as it began, the conflict fades. Order returns. The mountains remain silent once again. But perhaps the rarest resident of these highlands is one few people will ever see. Moving through the Afro-alpine grasslands, almost like a shadow, is the Ethiopian wolf. The rarest canid on Earth. Its reddish coat blends into the golden landscape as it hunts with remarkable patience. Unlike wolves elsewhere, it doesn't chase large prey. Instead, it listens. A tiny movement beneath the soil. A rodent hidden underground. Then, one precise leap. One perfect strike. Every successful hunt is another reminder that survival here depends not on strength, but precision. These animals exist because Ethiopia's mountains isolated them for millions of years. Separated from the rest of Africa, they evolved into species found nowhere else on the planet. The mountains became islands in the sky, protecting ancient life while the world below continued to change. But these towering cliffs sheltered more than wildlife. They also protected something equally extraordinary. People. Communities. Kingdoms. While deserts guarded Ethiopia from the outside, the highlands gave civilizations a place to grow. Rich volcanic soil nourished crops. Mountain passes controlled trade. Natural defenses discouraged invading armies. Here, among these rugged landscapes, one of Africa's greatest empires quietly emerged. Its influence would stretch across the Red Sea, trade with distant civilizations, and leave behind monuments so enormous they still dominate the horizon nearly 2,000 years later. The mountains had shaped life. Now, they would shape history. Long before Europe emerged from the Dark Ages, a powerful kingdom was already flourishing in the Ethiopian highlands. Its name was Aksum. Positioned between Africa, Arabia, and the Mediterranean, it became one of the ancient world's greatest trading powers. Ivory, gold, frankincense, and exotic goods passed through its markets before continuing toward Rome, Persia, and India. Its rulers minted their own gold and silver coins, a privilege shared by only a handful of civilizations. Its influence crossed seas, and its wealth was carved into stone. Even today, the giant stelae of Aksum still rise above the landscape. Some stand over 20 meters tall, each carved from a single block of granite. They were more than monuments. They were declarations. Proof that a civilization had mastered engineering, organization, and ambition on a remarkable scale. For centuries, these silent towers have watched kingdoms rise, empires collapse, and generations disappear beneath the same African sky. But Ethiopia's greatest monuments were still to come. In the 4th century, Aksum became one of the first kingdoms on earth to officially embrace Christianity. Faith transformed the nation. Yet instead of building upward toward the heavens, Ethiopia chose a different path. It carved downward. In the town of Lalibela, builders began removing the mountain itself. Block by block, they cut into solid volcanic rock until entire churches emerged from a single piece of stone. No bricks. No wooden beams. No separate foundations. Only living rock, transformed into places of worship. The most famous, the Church of St. George, lies hidden beneath the surface in the shape of a perfect cross. From above, it appears as though the earth opened, revealing a cathedral that had always been waiting below. Passageways connect one sanctuary to another. Pilgrims walk through narrow stone corridors. Development and economic transformation. For others, it raises difficult questions about the future of the Nile. Like much of Ethiopia, its story is still being written. Perhaps that is what makes this country impossible to define. It is one of humanity's oldest homelands, yet one of Africa's fastest changing nations. It carries the weight of ancient kingdoms, while reaching toward a future built with steel, technology, and new ideas. Its landscapes tell stories of fire, ice-cold mountain winds, forgotten empires, living traditions, and survival against impossible odds. Few places contain so many different worlds within a single border. Here, the earth is still changing. Rivers still carve valleys. Salt caravans still cross ancient deserts. Pilgrims still descend into churches carved from living rock. Geladas still roam the high plateaus. The Ethiopian wolf still hunts in the morning mist. And somewhere beneath these mountains, the ground still remembers the first uncertain footsteps of our species. Perhaps that is Ethiopia's greatest lesson. Civilizations are not built because the world is easy. They are built because people learn to adapt, to endure, to transform. Long before humanity changed the world, this land changed humanity. And even today, it continues to shape the story of a continent. And perhaps, the future still to come. But Ethiopia is only the beginning. Because far beyond these ancient highlands, another land tells a very different story. A place where survival is measured not by heat, but by endless winter. Where forests stretch farther than entire countries. And history was forged beneath snow instead of sun.